Greetings everyone, Corey here. Time for another movie review, which today I saw a sneak peek of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem, which I think a lot of people were a little iffy about it at first when Seth Rogen was tied to it and they first saw the first trailers and how the design and even the voice actors are much younger than most Ninja Turtles movies, if not all. They're definitely young teenagers, like barely high school freshmen, like kind of teenagers. At least that's what it feels like. So it's a different feel to them, which I think works better because they are more naive. They're more fresher to the world, but yet they still know of the world, and it makes their wants and needs kind of seem more plausible and more realistic compared to like the previous movies and stuff like that. So I actually liked it a lot. I know on Rotten Tomatoes right now it's sitting at a 96%. That's just from the critics. Audiences haven't really gotten to it because it's technically not released yet. It's just a sneak peek / early showing, which there's still some more early showings I think on Monday. If you're interested in checking out early, but I highly recommend it. I think it's definitely very enjoyable. It's definitely its own feel from all the other Ninja Turtle movies. The original Jim Henson puppeteered ones. Those are more adult than children. This one's definitely more child oriented, closer to a lot of the shows that were on Nickelodeon stuff, at least in the last few years. It's definitely more lighthearted, more visually pleasing, lots of colors. The animation choice I think fits very well. It feels almost like it's like the action figures moving on its own because they have such rigid features in a way, very defined like lines and coloring and stuff like that. That they just feel like sometimes I look at it and it just feels like they're doing almost like claymation, just because of the way that it sits in the design. I'm not sure if they're showing this in 3D, but man, if they made this for 3D, it would actually look pretty cool. But just the design choice that they went with, I think it fits so well. It works. The new thing with a lot of animations are dropping frames, which I think works very well because you get to focus a little bit more on a lot of the action, a lot of the impacts seem more, harder in a way. Just overall, I think it's a good choice. Coming from someone that watches a lot of anime and stuff, they don't quite always run at 24 frames a second with all dropping frames, but twos, threes, definitely feels more natural in a way, at least from my viewing experience. I think it works very well. There's a lot of cool scenes. There's a lot of good music. There's lots of references to pop culture today. So, kind of how it seems like almost every Turtles movie is very pop culture-y to the time it came out. This one is definitely one, and there's a long-running joke. It's interesting to see how they kind of explain a few things as well as montage through them, because it's like we kind of know the origins of the Turtles. Granted, of course, there are some things that change, from like Splinter's origin, his background and stuff like that, but more or less it's like, yeah, we actually get to focus on the Turtles. There's no, we barely meet April in this one, so there's no Casey, there's no Shredder. Spoiler, I guess. It's Mutant Mayhem because it's actually kind of cool seeing the Turtles at such a young age meet other mutants. And I know in the original in the original 80s cartoon, early 90s too, I think, they actually had a lot of different mutants that showed up in this series and stuff, which is actually kind of cool because they have a few of them here and they have them updated looks and everything, designs and stuff. Definitely toy market friendly because there's such different variations and they all look really great. They all fit into the world. They all have very distinct features that you kind of get an idea of like who they are just from looking at them. And it's kind of cool seeing some of the updated designs, especially the main bad guy, which is interesting. Um, they're it's interesting what they're doing with the ooze. It's not like typical, you know, where it's like a human could turn into a mutant as well as animals. It's mostly the animals that just get turned into humanoids. So it's interesting. The designs are really cool, crazy. The lighting is actually really good too as well. Voice actors, I think all of them fit perfectly. There's lots of little quirks and traits that everybody kind of shows off, especially throughout just from the beginning. They get right into it, and it's definitely more of a younger adult, younger teenagers. Like, it knows its audience. I think even kids too would find it enjoyable and stuff like that too. But man, it's I'm happy with what Seth Rogen did uh, to the series. It's definitely a new feel. He definitely at the beginning of this movie a lot of sneak previews and early showings. They did have like a little um, intro from the creators or some of the actors or something like that. So they actually had Seth Rogen introduced, saying, yeah, we're taking the turtles somewhere you've never seen them before, and it's like, yeah, we actually haven't seen them here before, and it's quite refreshing. I like it. I enjoy it. So I highly recommend it. I think it's a really good movie. I think kids, young teens and teenagers probably get a kick out of it and enjoy a lot of the storytelling that they're telling. Each character, of course, has great traits. Everybody fits. I think all the turtles were done justice. Splinter, for the character they made him, was great. It's not the classic Splinter that a lot of people know. So it's definitely different, but it works extremely well. The big baddies are definitely more interesting than just being big bads, and there is a mid-credit scene, so it's definitely stick around for that. Might be interesting to see what comes next. So we'll see. But until next time, guys, I don't think there's many movies in August I'm looking forward to, but you never know. Thursday, Friday, maybe I'll have another video up for another movie review. But until then, later.